Knows Best.
Hi, friends, and welcome back to Brenna Knows Best. I'm your host, Brenna Berg. Hi, how are you guys? Happy Monday. I need to make a few disclaimers. Number one, I'm not feeling that great, but here's the thing. Do I have the whole week to film? Yes, kind of. I mean, I am a little bit busy this week, and here's the other thing. I was starting to get sick, I think, yesterday, and therefore I'm like, if I feel worse tomorrow or the next day, I need to just film now this episode. That way, if I feel worse later, because can you imagine I push it off and then I feel worse? What do I do then? Number one. Number two, we are in a cold front, and by a cold front, it's like one day of being cold, and I'm not sure what the issue is with this house. I think it's normal in any house or apartment. Like insulation must not be that great. As you know, the room that I film in, and this is also where my vanity is, hello, it gets the coldest in this room. I woke up this morning and I think the thermostat said it feels like 64 and it was set at like 70 and I pushed it up to 72, but I don't want to turn the heat on because tomorrow is like back up to a high of 70s. That seems dramatic to me, but like literally I was just texting my friend and I kept accidentally sending things and my like fingers are cold. I don't know if like this is like abnormal, but I think it's a combination of me being sick and it being cold. Like I'm just kind of straight struggling. So we're just going to get through these. If my reactions seem a little off, if I seem a little down, that is why. Okay, I just want that to be made clear, but I'm fine. Honestly, I'm not that sick. I'm just feeling whatever my husband had. Okay, let's begin. My boyfriend is mad at me because he opened up the relationship and got no dates. Am I the asshole for how I responded? Me and my boyfriend, both 37, have been dating for just over 3 years. Prior to this, I was single for 8 years. Overall, it's been a healthy relationship. We are both independent with our jobs, living situations, etc. I do love spending time with him. I don't really have any complaints. Okay, you guys are both 37. You've been together for 3 years and this man opened the relationship up. You're 37 years old. Again, I know there's like such a thing as like being sexist or like racist, but like ageist, like that's a thing. But like at a certain age, I mean, like, I just don't understand if people want to be polygamous, which means have multiple partners, then like find other people who are into that. Like, I'm not going to shame somebody for that because that's what they want, but like, you're going to be in a relationship, monogamous for 3 years and then open up. That's when I have a problem. It's like, oh, anywho, I'm sorry. Let's keep going. However, something that startled me was back about 6 months ago, him saying that he wanted to open the relationship up, meaning going on dates and sleeping with other women. I've never been in a dynamic like this, so I naturally had a lot of questions. He told me that I could also go on dates and sleep with other men. I honestly was a little skeptical at first, but after doing some research and having time to think, I agreed. Wrong answer. He had told me that if at any point I wasn't comfortable, we could stop and close the relationship up again. One of the rules was we don't discuss with each other what we're doing or who we're going on dates with, etc. Like what? And you can just close the relationship as if this is like a door. Literally, like, oh, it's open, now it's closed. Shut the fuck up. I like literally can't. I signed up to a dating app. Within a few days, I had 500 plus likes and it had been pretty steady since. So I started matching with people, texting and arranging dates. On average, I go on 1 or 2 dates a month. I like cannot even imagine. Like she didn't even want this at first. She's never done this before. And like you're full on in a relationship and then you're like on the dating apps like talking to other guys. Like what a bizarre feeling. Like I can literally not imagine. Like why are we dating? Why are we together even? Like, that doesn't even make any sense. There are also some people in similar dynamics of open relationships that I am going on dates with, sleeping with regularly. I quite like the fact that everything is non-committal, so even though I was skeptical at first, I am enjoying the open relationship. As decided from before, I hadn't told my boyfriend about any of this. That's crazy. Can you imagine being a person just like me and like, or you and your boyfriend coming to you and you've like never done that and then you end up like enjoying it? Well, here's the thing. I think you just like don't actually like your boyfriend. Again, not to say that there aren't polygamists or whatever you want to call them, but like, I don't know. I just feel like you probably don't actually like your boyfriend that much, but let's keep going. I was at my boyfriend's house. I'm shocked though. Wait, sorry, I'm backing up because every time we've ever had stories like this where they're talking about opening up the relationship, it's like the guy opens it up, the girl commits even though she doesn't want to, and then he regrets it, and then that's that. Like, we've never heard the girl actually enjoying it. I don't think, right? Anywho, I was at my boyfriend's house the other day and my phone was on the kitchen counter. He saw my notifications and then proceeded to go through my phone and read messages, including going through the dating app and whatnot. To say he was angry was an understatement. Turns out he opened the relationship up to take out a younger colleague on a date at his workplace who misread his idea of a date as just a work lunch. Hold up. He asked to be in an open relationship all to take out one of his younger colleagues from work? Oh my gosh. He then openly told me that he wanted to see if it would work with her so he could ultimately leave me for her. I'm so sorry. What? Your boyfriend is telling you that he opened up the relationship to take out his colleague who he said he will leave you for. He wanted to see if it would go somewhere. That way then he can leave you for her in this like safe scenario rather than break up with you because he clearly doesn't think that you're the one or wants to be with you. No, not that. He wants to go through these hoops, jump through these hoops to open up the relationship. And oh my gosh. It's like those scenarios when, I mean, obviously this isn't equivalent, but like when men literally kill their wives, right? Rather than divorce, it's like men would rather do anything other than like divorce or like break up with their partner. Like, I just simply cannot understand that. I like literally cannot understand that. That's actually insane. However, she didn't want him, and it seems like no one else did either. In the last 6 months, he's had a few rough dates, but no one additional to sleep with. I like cannot even imagine. And obviously, like, this isn't a me and my husband scenario. Like, these two people are very different and like they're not the loves of each other's lives. But like, if I sat down with my husband and we were talking about dates with other people, like, I just cannot even fathom this like situation at all. If he's sitting there telling me that he's been on a few rough dates but none of them went well, oh my gosh, and he didn't find anybody else to sleep with, ew, what the frick. I feel somewhat embarrassed for him. He demanded we instantly close the relationship up, and I told him that maybe we should just end things or at least take a break. Duh! End the relationship. Like, you guys do not like each other. He was outraged and called me names, but he was the one who wanted this dynamic, so what's the problem? I left, and as I walked home, I contemplated fully breaking it off with him. He's been blowing up my phone, and I'm not quite sure what to do. Am I the asshole? You break up with him. I'm sorry, this is actually very simple. You end things. This man asked you for an open relationship. And here's the other thing. You've been enjoying it. You've been enjoying your dates and like fooling around with other people. And like, oh, his reaction is like classic, right? Like guy asks to open up the relationship and then finds out that his girlfriend or whatever you want to call it is actually going on dates and people are interested. And how fucking embarrassing that like nobody wanted to date him. Like he had no luck. Not the coworker, not anybody on the apps. He's had a few rough dates. Like actually that like nobody, I mean, listen to the words that I say and not what they mean, or like whatever that quote is. We all want to be with somebody, I think innately, like naturally, a person who's wanted by others. Not like technically, like, no, am I sitting here with my husband hoping that like girls want him like at work and when he's, no, of course not. But like nobody wants to be with a man who like nobody else wants, right? That nobody else likes or finds attractive. Like that's unattractive. Do you get what I'm saying? Like on a very like surface level, you get what I mean, right? Like if I found out that my husband or boyfriend, shitty ass boyfriend, opened up our relationship and then nobody wanted to date him, I'd be like, damn, so I'm the only loser that wants him? I'm the only fucking loser that wants to date this guy? Nope, end it. And obviously this just like was not meant to be. Okay, next. Am I the jerk for changing the Wi-Fi password after my roommate's boyfriend started working from our apartment every day? My roommate, 26 female, has a boyfriend, 27 male, who works from home, except his home seems to be our living room. He's here every morning with his laptop, taking Zoom calls, using our Wi-Fi, drinking our coffee, and leaving dishes everywhere. When I asked my roommate if he could work at his own place, she said his Wi-Fi is bad and you're not even home during the day. So I changed the password. She freaked out, saying I was controlling and making things uncomfortable. And I said, you're welcome to share rent with him if he's going to use half of the utilities. Now she says I ruined the dynamic. Am I the jerk? What dynamic? The dynamic where your boyfriend just uses the shit out of your guys' amenities at your apartment? No. And now you guys know me. Like I'm not really a person who like gets bothered by things like this, which it's really hard for me to think about having roommates because the last time I had a roommate, I was 23, and therefore like the dynamics and like 23 and younger, and then younger than that was college. So like it's not real life. Like they're 26 and 27 roughly, you know, I just turned 28. I'm trying to think, number one, about having a roommate and then being in this dynamic. Like you're a full-blown adult, and then I guess though, like if you're gone all day, I mean, it's still not correct. Like he's there at your house, dirtying up the place, leaving his dish. Like that's crazy. It'd be one thing if this guy was like I imagine, let's say me, and it never said that they're best friends, but like me and my best friend Natalie, like I love her boyfriend and he's like respectful. Let's say we live together and we both worked and I was gone during the day and Ryan was at home, you know, working, but like he wasn't leaving the dishes, like the leaving the dishes and using of the coffee. But I feel like, again, it's so bizarre. Like I always, and I think we all kind of do this, where we imagine people acting like we would. Like if that were me, I would never leave dishes somewhere like out at somebody else's house, right? Use up their coffee without like replenishing it, or like bringing my own coffee, or like, again, chipping in. But it's like, dude, how are you like 27 years old? Like where's your home? I guess his Wi-Fi is bad, but like figure it out, get better Wi-Fi. And like that's what I'm saying. It would be okay to me potentially. Like I'm a chill, go with the flow person. Like yeah, if I'm gone all day and they're being like respectful, like why do I care if fucking Bob is at our house like working? I mean, if it's not really affecting me. But she says he's taking Zoom calls. You're not even home during the day. Well, she must be there for some of, I mean, he should pay a little bit. Be like, okay, that's fine. Like, he can, I guess, but that's not what you signed up for. I understand when girls like don't want the boyfriend, and we're all comfortable with different things. Like, that stuff, like, again, I don't know how many times I can say this doesn't really bother me, but like, I understand why it would bother others. Like, you didn't sign up to like have him as a roommate. But as I was like reading that story, I was thinking about, again, this is college though, things were different. My boyfriend in college lived in a house with one other guy. It was a 2-bedroom. It had a basement, but I don't think the basement was finished. 2-bedroom, 1 bath. It was like down. Actually, it was 3 bedrooms, but one of the bedrooms was just like full of shit. This guy, not my boyfriend, but the friend, had inherited the house or got it from his grandma, and it was just the two of them living there. And like, I was there all the time. I wasn't like working. I mean, like, I had a full-time job and I was in college, but like, I was there in the evening time. I guess I didn't even really shower there. I guess it's different, but like, I never thought once. I mean, I'm sure I did, but like, how he felt, because he never had a girlfriend. He was always there. He was like a very introverted guy. I wonder how he's doing. He was so nice. He had 2 huskies, okay, which was wonderful. Like, I loved, oh my gosh, pups galore. But he was fine with it. I remember asking, actually, I'd be like, ugh, like, because I lived with multiple girls. So it was like, we could either go there where it's like chill and his roommate like never bothers us, or it's like my house where my room is the size of a goddamn 200 square foot, like little tiny shoebox, and all the girls running around and doing stuff and naked half the time, right? Yeah, I don't know. It just depends on the people. But like, I mean, is changing the Wi-Fi password a little bit passive aggressive? Maybe. But like, I understand why she did it. I'm not going to dog her, but like, the roommate or the other girl saying like it's ruining the dynamic. No, it's ruining your dynamic with your shitty boyfriend who's just using our Wi-Fi. Y'all just need to like talk it out and figure out like what you're okay with and what you're not okay with. Those are my thoughts. Okay, next. Oh, this is a good one. Am I the asshole for refusing to give my coworker their office back now that work from home has been canceled? Back in 2023, a woman, we'll call her Jen, in my building left for maternity leave. After having her child, Jen took advantage of our company's work from home program, which left her office open. I placed in a request for the space with my manager, which was given the go, so I got to leave my crappy cubicle for my very own private office. That's amazing. My employer has announced that work from home will end on November 17th, 2025. All employees are to be back in the office by that date. Yeah, that sucks. I know. Yesterday, work from home employees came in for tours and desk assignments. When Jen saw I was in her office, she became agitated and asked if I'd be leaving so she could take back over. I told her flatly that I had no intent to give up the office. Okay, really quick. Number one, was Jen expecting to walk back into the office and like her office, okay, her specific office, like being just open? Like she just left it and then like nobody is utilizing it? Because that's crazy. But number two, I obviously am not super privy to like corporate America and jobs like this with like cubicles and offices, but like, how are you going to go up to your coworker? Like, she's not the one who's in charge of like the office desk situation, right? Like, why would this girl who got your office after you left be like, yeah, here it is back? Nobody's going to do that. I don't think anybody, no matter how kind, would be like, yeah, here's your office back. Like, no, fair is fair. Like, I got this office. Like, you can go in and bid for one, right? But like, it's been since 2023. Yeah, that's crazy. Jen spoke with a manager about this, and management's immediate decision was that I was under no obligation to move out of the office. Duh. I was approached and asked if I had any interest in returning to a cubicle. I said, no, fuck, because who would? Who would have a private office and then say, yeah, I want to go back to my cubicle? What? Oh my gosh. And then there was no follow-up from my manager or HR, as they both see the matter as closed. Now, just a day later, I'm getting a stink from coworkers who think I'm punishing Jen for something outside of her control. She did what was fair. Jen left, gave up her office. You apparently get to bid or put in your thing to get your own office, and then it was granted. Why is she in the wrong? This is just office policy. Oh my gosh. I understand that sucks for Jen because she did have an office. That I can, admit and see that would stink. But I don't know how you just expect that this person is going to give up their office, especially after over a year, essentially 2 years. That's crazy. Oh my gosh. Okay. Jen has also emailed me asking me to consider the position she's in and that she's already being punished by the company by being compelled to return to the building and asking me to consider her feelings. Jen, you're not considering this girl's feelings. Oh my gosh. Sincerely, I definitely understand how much this sucks for her and everyone else being forced to come back, but I like having my own office. Totally. I get that. I totally get that. Oh my gosh. That's crazy. I have a lot of stuff in here that I'd otherwise have to carry back home. I'd be giving up the privacy that I've become adjusted to. And if I'm being honest, I enjoy actually having a nice window to look out of and none of the noise of the cubicles. Am I the asshole on this one? No. And anybody who disagrees is just has been in this position or feels unjustified sympathy for Jen because she can do what you did. She can put her name in for the hat to get an office, but she gave that up, right? And again, like this girl said, it sounds like she's, has a heart. She said, I feel bad, right? It does stink. I'm sad for the people to have to come back into the office, but none of that is the girl's fault. This is just as fair as fair. This girl had an edit from comments that she got. So a few people really brought up that I hadn't considered was the question of if I vacated the office, would that necessarily mean Jen could have it back? On Monday, my manager had approached me about returning to a cubicle to verify my lack of interest, but this morning I checked with HR on the policy. Sure enough, you cannot simply choose someone to give your office to, as office assignments are selected by policy. The office would go into the pool if I vacated, which means Jen would be competing with everyone else over it. Several of the work from home people who have returned are more senior than her, and at least one of them is definitely interested in the next bidding that comes up. So Jen would be out of luck. HR is going to circulate a reminder on the office bidding policies. I also brought up the email with my manager, who stated she will reply to it and CC in Jen's manager to ensure there is an understanding that this matter should be considered closed. Thank God. Okay, and number one, I already felt the way I do, but what she just said is that even if she vacated, that would just open. And why would she vacate? She works there and she's been there every day. Why does she need to be punished? I don't it sucks. And if I were Jen, would I be upset that I used to have an office and now I don't? Yes, right? Or not upset, but it'd be damn. But it's that's what happened. You went on maternity leave and then you were working from home, and that whole time somebody, what's actually a similar scenario is my husband at his last firm. Let me tell you this, they were on the 48th floor of a building. Okay. And their office, the whole entire office was the whole entire floor of the 48th floor or whatever. So naturally there were offices on the outside right, that had windows. And then there were some offices on the inside and like the conference rooms on the inner, with no windows. Well, because my husband was a first year attorney, he came in and he was given one of the internal offices. So this man did not have a window. And it was also a tiny room, but like, that's what happens. You're the newbie. You're like the bottom of the totem pole. But there were some other associates, one in particular, who like really didn't work. Even though they were technically on paper like a junior or senior level associate, like they had been there for years and years and years, they like didn't put any hours in, and they were like certainly never in the office, because the in-office structure at his last firm was way more lenient. And oh my gosh, my husband, he never like said anything to anybody or made a stink or whatever, but he's like, it's crazy because he was there every single day. Like even when he didn't have work, he made sure to like be there before 9 and after 5. Like he was really good about being in the office. And he's like, I'm there every single day. And therefore, not only does he like see who's there and isn't there for a whole year straight, but like he doesn't have the luxury of just like even having a window, like being able to see outside. I'm like, yeah, that does suck. But like, what is he going to do? He's not going to ask like, hey, can I have that person's, like, they're technically a senior level associate or junior level. So like, they're going to say no, like what, they're going to put them in a middle office, but it definitely stunk. So I kind of understand this like little scenario, but that's crazy. People are just like so entitled. And I guess we all do this. As human beings, we think about our needs and we think about things from our, scenario or our lens. But I also feel like I am good about seeing other people's sides. And also, I'm not entitled. Like, I've never tried to put myself above somebody else. Or like, if I were Jen, I would never like speak up. I would be annoyed that I'm back in a cubicle, but like, that's what the deal is, right? And there is a difference. Like, I do believe, and my husband is trying to teach me how to like advocate for yourself, because there is a time and place to advocate for oneself. And like, I don't think in some scenarios it hurts, but there's like a fine line between like advocating for yourself and then just being like downright entitled and just being bitchy and just like trying to get what you want and not thinking about somebody else's feelings, Those are just my thoughts. Okay, next. Okay, this next story I thought was so interesting, and I have a few different thoughts on this, kind of like contradictory, but we've never had a story like this. Am I the asshole for telling my son I know he is gay? I, 62 male, have 2 kids, one 24 male and another 26 female. My wife unfortunately passed away 10 years ago and brought most of the warmth and heart to the family. I've worked on myself and tried to be a more nurturing presence for my kids since she passed, but it isn't something that comes naturally to me, as I had a very traditional and pretty severe upbringing. This brings me to my current situation. I recently found out through a friend at my church that my son is romantically involved with another man. At first, I was just surprised, but after I digested the news, I was concerned that he clearly didn't feel able to share this important part of his life with me. Oh, that's so cute and sad. We live in a more conservative part of the US, and I am an active churchgoer, and we had never really discussed sexuality as a family. As such, I was concerned that he thought I would disown him or something, when in reality, I just love him and want him to find the happiness that I had with his mother, whatever form that takes. That is the sweetest fucking thing I've ever heard. And it's great that he has a grasp on what's happening. Number one, like, obviously I have no idea what it's like to be gay and then to like come out to your family, and especially depending on where you live and if it's conservative and you're like churchgoers, which like I think hopefully, obviously Christianity and stuff, like there are so many of these like hardcore churches and religions that are like anti homosexual relationships. Is that like I don't want to say something that's not, I always forget like what's correct to say and what isn't correct. So like, excuse me if I'm not saying that right, but like, you know, gay couples or bisexual, whatever. Like obviously for a really long time in religions and churches, like that was like in the Bible, or they took it as in the Bible. Again, I don't even know what's in the Bible, but like that was a no-go. I know that much. Like they say you're going to hell or whatever. Hopefully that is changing, that people don't believe that, like the very religious, I don't know, whatever your views are on it. Like obviously you guys know where I fucking stand. I have not a single viewpoint or thought about somebody's sexuality. Like that is somebody's sexuality. I don't give a shit, and I don't think you're going to hell. I don't even know if I believe in a hell. Sorry. In the end, I decided it'd be best to address it directly with him so he knew that I loved and supported him, and he didn't have to worry about telling me. I invited him over for a beer. I told him that I knew and expressed as best that I could that it wasn't something he needed to hide from me. He's very much like me and not too great at emoting. I'm also not very good at emoting. But after his initial shock, he hugged me and told me that he appreciated it. Oh my gosh! I felt like the conversation went well and I was closer to him. That's so sweet. Wait, where's the problem? When my daughter found out that this happened, however, she told me that I'd made a big mistake. She said I ambushed him, and worse, I robbed him of the opportunity to come out to me in his own time, which she told me is often important to gay people. I really didn't get the impression from my son that he felt that way about our conversation, and she didn't hear from him that he feels that way, but she says it's obvious that he'd be upset. Okay, she's totally just like projecting onto him, or like putting emotions. Like he said that they hugged and that his son said he appreciated it. Why is she trying to stir shit up? So now I'm wondering if I've been an asshole telling him that I knew, and if so, what I should do next. I've been thinking of checking in with him, but I don't want to inadvertently say the wrong thing and damage my relationship with him more than I already may have done. I cannot lose another person I love and don't want to hurt my son, who went through so much already with his mom's passing. Replies from all are welcome, but especially gay folks who might know what my son is going through. God bless. This man sounds amazing. No, the daughter is being insane. And so when I first read the title, which is what I was going to say, I initially was like, oh, like the way that he wanted to confront him. I'm like, you know, I felt not as strongly as the girl, but I'm like, I feel it's something that the son should have come to his dad about. But on the flip side of the coin, I almost feel like it's one of those things, you know, when like, let's say there's something you want to bring up to your boyfriend or your mom or a family member, and you're scared to do it no matter what the thing is. And then all of a sudden it gets brought to your attention regardless. Sometimes in the end, it's better that, like, even if you were upset, like let's say I needed to tell my mom something. I can't think of a specific, if I had a specific thing that I'm thinking of, I would tell you. But like, let's say I had something to tell my mom that was important, and I told my brother and I said, I haven't told mom yet, or like, you know, whatever that is. And then he ended up telling her, or she ended up finding out some other way and then confronted me about it. In the moment, I would be mad. I'd be mad at how she found out, or that she's bringing it up to me when I'm not ready, or whatever. But if it was something that's really important and it had been eating away at me, I think later on, I would be happy that it finally got brought to the forefront. Because what if this son like didn't bring it up for like years? Like he's like hiding this very important detail about himself. Like on one hand, I feel like it should be him to bring it up. I was almost like, oh God, you're going to bring it up to him. And I thought it was going to go negatively, because like, that's just a lot. And like, you found out from somebody else. I was like, oh, like I'm thinking if I'm the parent in that scenario, that I would want my child to come to me about something so big like that. I wouldn't like confront them the way that this dad did. But I almost feel like, again, on the flip side, it's good that he did, because then it's out in the open. No matter, like, let's say the son did react poorly and was like, holy fuck, like, why didn't you let me like come to you with this information? You know, the initial like being upset and just shocked and like embarrassed or whatever those feelings are, guilt, because who knows what they're feeling. It would be better in the long run because like it's now out in the open. Like he knows, like, let's just like move forward. You don't have to hide this thing. And I feel like it would be better later on, right? So like, number one, this particular instance, like the daughter is just being annoying. If he wanted to text, like, I feel he could just say like, your sister brought it to my attention that potentially you would have liked to come to me first. I'm sorry if I bombarded you, or like, I'm sorry if I didn't go about that the right way, but I just really wanted you to know that I love you and I don't care. And like, you know, blah, blah, blah. I think that would be a sweet thing to text, but it sounded like between him and the son, it didn't go poorly. So like, I don't think that's even necessary. The sister is just being annoying. She just has an idea of like what that's supposed to look like. And again, that would be my initial response. Like, yeah, don't bring that, like, let them come to you. But I also feel like it was good that they did that and will help their relationship in the long run, right? I think it's fine. Okay. Next, will I be the asshole if I give my unborn daughter a fake name to my sister? My sister and I are fraternal twins and we're both 28. We ended up pregnant at the same time, her a little bit before me, and my sister has run with this idea that we need to name our babies matching or similar names and that we should share our pregnancies with each other and not with our husband / her boyfriends first. What? No. For 6 or 7 weeks, she was pushing for me to use the names Edmund or Ethel for a boy or a girl because she was planning to use Edward or Mabel. She thought Edmund and Edward sounded handsome together, and Ethel and Mabel sounded so cute and granny chic. I'm sorry, what the fuck are we even talking about? What? You're trying to name your child matching with your twin? Like, you guys, oh my gosh, that would actually drive me insane. I'd be like, no. Ethel and Edmund would never be contenders for our baby name, regardless of if I wanted my sister and I to choose similar names for our kids. And before someone asks, she was of the belief that our babies would be the same sex at that point. Eventually, she did say we should do Rosemary and Frederick if we had one of each, but again, neither name was mine and my husband's taste. I told my sister I wasn't going to match up my baby's name to hers, and I was going to choose a name with my husband, aka the father of my child. No, for real? What? Oh my, why doesn't she name her own children matching names? Like, those are your children. These are my children with my husband, my new family. Right, my family. Not that they're not family anymore, but like, oh, the twin thing is crazy. She wasn't happy about it, so then she started asking what names we were considering / choosing. She has made it her mission to find out and asks at least once a day, even when I don't see her. The text always comes around the same time, and any additional texts asking will be scattered throughout the day, or she'll call or DM me somewhere asking. But we don't want her to find out right now. Ideally, she'll have her baby, name them, and ours will be born, and we'll wait a bit to announce and then go public with the name. Well, if her baby's supposed to go first, then like she's named it and that's fine. Like, then just do it after. I ignore when she asks me now, and I had told her to stop several times before that. She's not giving up. That's literally insane. Girlfriend, like, this is their literal baby. This is their child who's going to grow up to be an adult. Like, I'm not going to name my child based on anything other than me and my husband's ideas and thoughts. The constant asking has driven me crazy. So we thought about giving her a fake name and pretend we're using that until we're ready to say the real name. This way, she can't tailor her baby's name to ours, and I feel this is what she will do if she knows our actual chosen name. I'll tell her something very out there because it would, to her, be realistic since, to her, the name Meadow, a name I mentioned I liked 2 or 3 years ago, is the same as the name Tinkerbell in terms of out there weirdness. So I figure I could go pretty out there in the fake name and she'll believe it, and then she can think that's the name until both babies are here and named officially. Would that make me the asshole though? No. I would just say, like, hey, I'm giving you a fake, like, stop. Like, why can't she stop? Why are you guys grown adults? What did they say? They're 28 years old and she like will not stop asking you even though you've said that you won't do it? That's so childish and weird. And it's weird to begin with that she wants to name the children the same thing or like the same, idea. I don't like that. That's so bizarre. I would just say like, hey, I'm going to give you a fake name. So you stop asking. Like, I'm not telling you I don't want our children. Like, make it crystal fucking clear. Or just say like, I'm not telling you. And then block her. Not that you can block your sister, but like, don't answer those texts. Like, just ignore, because that's crazy. She just needs to name her child what she's going to name her child, just like you are going to. Oh my gosh. Okay. Next. Am I the asshole? Oh, this is crazy. For no longer having a relationship with my friend after he impregnated a 16-year-old. I'll start from the beginning because with context, I could look like a hypocrite, but I can't change how I'm feeling. Back in April, my friend, 31 male, went out with some workmates. A few of his teammates are graduates aged early 20s, and they ended up at a club. When my friend was 18 to 23-ish, he would spend most weekends clubbing, so it's not a shock that he went out. At the club, he met a girl who said she was 22. This wasn't a stretch, as they met at a club and he saw her license, which we now know is fake. I also saw a photo of them together, and I assumed she was roughly 10 years younger, considering how she looked. That night, they hooked up, and that was that. It was a one-night stand. He's 31 and she said she was 22, but obviously that's not going to be the thing. But also, if I'm like interpreting this correctly, why are you having a one night stand without a goddamn condom and birth control? Like, oh, but she's 16. Oh my God. Honestly, at this point, I had zero issues with what he did because why would I? About a month later, the girl reached out to him on Instagram saying she was pregnant. He told the group chat and was freaking out. I tried to be supportive, and considering I'm the only person in our friend group who has kids, he naturally turned to me. Big difference is I got married before kids and am still with my wife. I mean, yep, that is a little bit different. So my friend met up with the girl, and that's when she told him her actual age. Her parents were there and they berated my friend. He was completely shocked. We didn't hear from him for about a week since he told us he was meeting up with the girl. When he did message the group and mentioned the girl's age, I immediately got a weird feeling reading that. It could be because I have 2 daughters. It could be because a couple of years ago, my wife and I took in my cousin who was a few years older than the girl. I completely started to see my friend in a different way. But here's the thing. Again, I don't want to make excuses, but he thought she was 22 years old. And I know people like to say, how would you not know a 16-year-old is not 16? Which, hello, have you seen 16-year-olds in today's day and age? And also, they met in a club. I would never, and again, it differs from place to place. I get that. Of course, fake IDs are a thing, but why would you think that? And also like a 16-year-old being willing to like hook up and like, oh my gosh, like it's obviously so fucked up in so many ways, but like it's crazy that like how were her parents berating him like your daughter, and not that it's their fault, like it's completely the girl. Clearly she's 16, she's a kid. I'm not going to say it's her fault either because she's a child, her brain isn't even fully developed, even close. But like I don't think that he's necessarily the villain or the person that they're making him out to be. Like, how was he to know? I mean, of course, on one hand, you're 31 years old, use a fucking condom or like make sure. But like to say that people don't have one night stands, like this shit happens all the time. He obviously, like he said he saw her ID, which maybe he's lying, but like also he has no reason to believe like she lied to him. She said she was 22. She was in the club. Like, I don't feel, I mean, it's disgusting, right? Like a 31-year-old and a 16, like after you learn that, but like, it's not like he sought that out. I mean, it's still weird. Even again, people always take this, like, of course it's weird, even just 31 and 22, but like, we all know that happens. We all know that this happens. Like girls do it just as much as guys do it. People always make the guys seem disgusting, which it is gross. And I agree with that. But it's also like women go after older men. Like it's two consenting parties in these scenarios. So it's like, this isn't like the craziest shit you've ever heard. Right? Oh my gosh. I will say that in his defense, obviously he didn't know her age, and the age of consent is 16 where we are. So it was two consenting people, but not two consenting adults. I know if he knew that she was 16, he wouldn't have done anything, but it happened. Right. I low-key feel bad for this man. I low-key feel bad for him because what the fuck? What the actual fuck? Nonetheless, I told him not to message me for support or anything because I was not in the right headspace to help. He has the other boys and his family, and he should lean on them. Oh my gosh. Damn. Initially, the friend group did try to help, but all of the boys who had a girlfriend slash fiance slash wife slowly took my view on the situation, mainly because their partners were like me and couldn't get over the fact that she's 16, but she lied. Like, I'm really feeling bad for this guy because now all of his friends are turning on him like this is kind of just something that happened to him. Like he was a part of it, but he had no idea she was 16. Damn, this is why I wanted to talk about it because I don't know if this is going to make me look bad, but like, you know what I'm saying? Now my friend is going through this alone. His family are completely embarrassed by the situation. The girl he impregnated has told him not to contact her. Instead, her mom is doing the talking, and I'm sure that they're not thrilled with the situation. Of course not. Nobody is. What? I personally won't see him in the same way again. I get that he would need support in this and he is feeling tremendous guilt and pressure, but if I speak, I'm not going to make the situation better. Am I the asshole? You're not the asshole. I don't think anybody is the asshole in this circumstance, but I actually feel like he doesn't have any good friends, but it's such a hard thing because that is so fucked. Like, it would be hard to remain friends. Like he's 31 and now he got a 16-year-old pregnant, but like you also know the circumstances. Like he would have never done that. I don't think, I guess I don't know him obviously, but like you're saying you don't think he would have ever done that if he knew. That is just a fucked up scenario. But I also feel like she's a child, so like I don't know what you can do, but like she also not taught a lesson because that's such a bizarre thing to say, but I feel like she does need to be taught a lesson. Like that is so fucked. That is so fucked that she was like in the club and then lied about her age and now is like a 16. Like, oh, it's just, and it's sad for the child. Like this child is like oh my gosh, the mom is so young, the circumstances suck, the dad's like gonna, what is he gonna have involvement? She's not talking to him, like, what's that? It just always sucks for the goddamn child brought into the world in a shitty dynamic like this, which is why when you're having a one night, like, he is such a fucking idiot for not using a condom. How are you 31 years old not using a condom on a one night stand, period? Like, of course there are faults of his, but like, people do these things again, like, clearly people do these things. Ew, 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 ew. What the frick? I don't mean to end it on such a horrible note. Thank you guys so much for listening. I have to wrap this up here. I feel like I'm going to be exhausted after I finish. Oh, I forgot to tell you guys that before this, I had this blanket in the dryer. I've been warming up my clothes and my blankets because it's been so cold in this freaking house. And because I'm sick, I think I'm colder than normal. But now I'm like low key sweating. I do have 2 jackets on. But anywho, happy Monday. I hope you guys had the best weekend. I hope you had a great week. And I will see you on Friday. Okay. Bye, guys.